Okay, so I'm going to the doctor. I think I have pneumonia. Hi guys and welcome. Guys, I don't have any subscribers yet, but I gotta just fake it till you make it, right? Anyway, welcome to my first 2 weeks in Thailand. When I first went backpacking in Europe, I fell in love with travel. A lot of people told me that Thailand was a perfect backpacker's place, especially if it's your first big adventure. A lot of people do it as their first big backpacker experience. So many young people, amazing hostels, super adventure type. It's supposed to be the amazing place is what I heard. So I was like, okay, say less. And so over the summer, I saved up a bunch of money at my waitress job and I just said, I'm gonna do it. This is my first 2 weeks. I'm gonna have a 2-part series. I went for 4 weeks, so I'll do 2 parts. I started off in the north. I started off in Bangkok. So here we go. So I was spending 1 month in Thailand and going straight from there to Paris to spend a year for school. So I had to take all my belongings that I'm going to use in Paris to Thailand with me. Meant leaving them in an airport storage in Thailand, which was really cool actually. It was literally only $50 to store my stuff for the entire month. My hostel was right in the middle of Chinatown and right in the middle of this huge street market, which was so cool. I got to try the street food. It was a little crowded because it was literally in the street market. Nonetheless, I really like this hostel and I'm going to recommend it. And I actually met one of my favorite people I met in all of Thailand there, who I still talk to. So you don't have to stay in a party hostel to meet people. A lot of people like to stay in party hostels in Bangkok because people like to party on Koh San Road, which looks so cool. I didn't do it. I had just gotten off my flight and I really just wanted to stay in a chill hostel, and I'm honestly not even mad that I did it. I also knew that I was going to be doing like a lot of social stuff in the south and on the beaches and stuff, and like I had a lot more time to do that. In Bangkok, my first day, I just kind of like walked out of the hostel and I wanted to go exploring by myself and like just walk around, and I walked around the streets. I looked around, I tried some of the street food, and I just realized like how cool it was that I was actually there. I was like, I really did this. Bangkok is insane. It's so crowded, it's so busy. It's just like bang, bang, bang. Like the streets are going crazy all the time. Street food, street markets everywhere. It's a crazy city. That's the only way I can describe it. But I know it's known for its temples. And so the first day I went to I think it was called the Wat Po. Yeah, I went to the Wat Po. And I think it was just a tiny fee to get in. And then they made you put on this really long skirt because you can't show any of your like your knees or your shoulders, I believe, as well. And then I took myself to this really cute little market on the river. And that was so cute. And for the first time, I started feeling this like a little bit lonely, and that's so unlike me. I never get lonely. I can spend literally months. It's like kind of like concerning how long I can spend on my own without human interaction, without friends, without my family. Like I could genuinely spend so long alone and not feel like lonely at all. I was like, this is weird. But I was like, I'm in Asia. It makes sense. Like I can't beat myself up for feeling lonely, right? One thing I had to do when I was in Bangkok is go to the Chatuchak weekend market, which is this insane weekend market. It's the size of like, I think 9 football fields. It's crazy. It's like endless stalls of clothes, food, everything you can think of, like toys. It's so cheap. Bikinis, bathing suits, anything you want, shoes. So cheap, and it's so cool. I was like having so much fun trying all the different foods, honestly. That was like my main excitement for the trip, was trying all the food. So I tried this amazing coconut ice cream. Oh, so good, with like nuts on top. I was supposed to spend one more day in Bangkok, but I thought that I just had enough of Bangkok, honestly. You can really just spend 2 to 3 days there and be good. I spent a little bit of extra money changing my flight from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. And there's a few different ways that you can get to Chiang Mai. Only 2 hours by flight, and I believe an overnight bus of 12 hours. So it's a really big difference. And the flights are not expensive. I think I got it in advance. I spent like $70, which sounds like kind of a lot. But the night buses are like $45 to $50. And you're spending 12 hours in the bus. People like the idea of like, oh, a night bus. You get to wake up and see the sunrise. Would you rather like do that or be in Chiang Mai in 2 hours? Actually, it's an overnight train. It's kind of cool to have like beds on the train. I'll insert a picture. But I got to Chiang Mai. When I first got to Chiang Mai, there's this app. This is a really important app that you all need to get if you go to Thailand. It's called Grab. It's like the equivalent of Uber in Asia. When I first got to Chiang Mai, I was like being bold, and I was at an airport and I'm like, okay, it's only a 30-minute walk to the hostel. I'm gonna just walk. I realized like 15 minutes in that I was very tired. So I got on the Grab app, and one of the options is to take a scooter. So they pick you up on their scooter, and I actually took this, I forgot to mention, I took the scooter to the Chatuchak market. I'll probably have already inserted a video. It was so funny, like they came up in this like tiny little scooter, like just hop on the back and like just go. It was like such a Thailand thing. So that's what I did in Chiang Mai to get to my hostel, and it was at sunset, and I was just like getting to Chiang Mai for the first time in this sunset scooter ride. I'm like, this is amazing. The first hostel I stayed at was called Hidden Garden. It was absolutely a beautiful hostel. It had this like, it looked like Bali. It had this like beautiful pool in the back. All the rooms were spotless. The staff was like the sweetest people I think I met in all of Thailand. They had so much advice to give you for different things you could do in Chiang Mai. They had these maps and like where the night markets were. They had like these tours during the day that they were telling us about. It was more of a chill hostel as well, just like in Bangkok. I stayed in a chill hostel in Chiang Mai as well. I definitely met cool people, but it wasn't some crazy party hostel. The first night I was there, I met this girl from Germany and we went to a night market together where I met a few other girls and they invited me to go to a waterfall the next day. We actually rented scooters, which is something you absolutely have to do when you're in Thailand, but I don't want to advise doing it if you don't feel comfortable. It was my first time driving a scooter and same with everyone I met and we all did fine, but you really do have to be careful because driving in Chiang Mai is crazy and I got way too comfortable with it. I ended up renting a scooter for the whole 6 days I was there. And let me tell you, I got way too comfortable. I was like riding in between the cars, just going crazy, honestly. Like I was becoming a local. We took these scooters up to it was called the Doi Intunan National Park. And it's this crazy, crazy viewpoint. It's actually the highest viewpoint in all of Thailand. I'll insert a picture of us at the sign. Unfortunately, we got very unlucky and couldn't find the viewpoint. So we did find the sign. That was really cool. We can acclaim that we were at the top of Thailand, but we did actually make it to the viewpoint. So that was really depressing. There was a viewpoint. We didn't make it to the viewpoint. Anyway, it was still so worth it and so cool. And people I was with I met were really, really, really sweet. And they were the ones who told me about the other hostel called Silvis Hostel, which is apparently like the cool hostel of Chiang Mai. It's very social, but also pretty quiet. It's not too crazy. So I ended up booking my last night there. I think my last night or two. Actually, I spent 2 nights at Silvis. And I met Nicole there, which I spent the next like 2 weeks with, and I saw her all over Thailand for the rest of my trip. When you meet someone in a certain place on your trip and then they're also doing a similar route, especially in Thailand, it's like everyone does the same route. So if you meet someone in Bangkok, you're bound to meet them in either the north or if you go down to the south, the beach. It's really cool. You end up meeting the same people all over the place and it becomes like this backpacker community and you just know everyone. You feel like you're just surrounded by all your friends after a while, which is crazy. We went out together at night, went with her group that she already knew. I ended up meeting this guy who I ended up scootering from Chiang Mai all the way to Pai with the next day. So my next destination from Chiang Mai was going to be Pai. I was going to be scootering from Chiang Mai all the way to Pai. It's a 2-hour scooter, 2 to 4-hour scooter journey. It usually takes around 3.5 hours, but 4 if you're stopping for food and everything. That was my plan. Confident on the scooter. I was gonna do it. I didn't have anyone to do it yet. I had talked to a few people that potentially would do it with me, but as of then, it was just me. But I had met this guy at a bar and he was super like intrigued by it. He never knew that you could drive from Chiang Mai to Pai. Pai is a really hippie village, also in the northern Thailand, very close to Chiang Mai. All of his friends were really worried and nervous, and so they backed out and didn't want to do it, but he was determined and he did it with me. So he scootered all the way from Chiang Mai to Pai with me, and I'm obviously gonna insert a lot of pictures, videos. This was the coolest experience ever. I think it was one of my favorite things I did in all my trip in Thailand. It was absolutely incredible, like stunning. The view was It was something else, really something else. It felt like tropical rainforest, but then you were in like a bunch of different terrains, and also Chiang Mai is baking hot at the time. It was so hot. Once you start getting closer to Pai, the elevation is crazy. It gets super, super high up and very cold. So actually, because I had already gone to that national park with my friends, I was warned. I had to buy a jacket on the mountain because it was so freezing. I wasn't going to do that again. So I came prepared. I had actually 2 jackets just in case Cameron didn't have one, which he didn't. On the road from Chiang Mai to Pai, there's just like so many viewpoint restaurants and cafes overlooking the mountains. And it's just like this incredible experience. Really, I really recommend it. You do have to be careful. I'll insert the route, but it's this insane route. It's like basically like this the entire way. Very, very twisting and turning. So you do have to be careful because it's on a cliff. But I mean, if you're going slow, I didn't see any problem with it. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than it was, considering how people would talk about it. We finally got to Pai after such a long journey. It always ends up being so much longer than you think. And like we stopped for lunch. We stopped for coffee at some point. We stopped at those waterfalls that I inserted pictures of before, which was so worth it. Like, there's some random waterfall signs in the way, so we're like, okay, we gotta go. Like, we're super adventurous. We stopped at a viewpoint, and we finally got to Pai. I dropped him at his hotel, and I kept scootering to get to my hostel, and right when you arrive in Pai, you can already feel like the amazing vibe of the area. It's like this hippie town, so much nature. It's surrounded by greenery, trees, like large farm fields going for miles. We arrived at sunset, which was actually stunning. And then, like, as I was driving down the main street to get to the hostel, there was just like these lanterns all over, and it was getting dark, so the lanterns were already starting to light up. It was so pretty. I really recommend going to Pai. If you're going to Chiang Mai, go to Pai. I arrived at my hostel. My hostel is called Revolution Hostel, and it was marketed as a party hostel. First hour I got there, the staff was inviting me to this jungle rave that was going on that night. It was actually a festival. It was the one festival of the year or whatever, like some big deal. And the people in my dorm were going, and like, you should come too. So I was like, why not? I told the guy I scootered with to come along as well, and so he joined. And crazy enough, when I was sitting at the common table, there was a big dinner for pretty cheap. It is a whole dinner buffet and also a big bar, so you could buy really cheap drinks there, which is really cool. And so as I was sitting at the table with my dinner with the new friends from my dorm, I see the group that I met in Chiang Mai that I went to the waterfall with, which is so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh. I also saw Nicole and everyone there, so everyone was at the same spot. We didn't even plan it, and they were all planning on going to this festival too. So I was like, okay, I gotta go, I guess. I'll sleep some other time. We went to this festival, and it was so underwhelming. It was very strange vibes. It felt like a cult, honestly. People were sitting around in the fields in circles, kind of like, I think everyone was on drugs. I think I was too sober for this party. So we ended up just leaving early, and it was still like a funny adventure, honestly. It was really fun to do the pregame. That was really fun. We did like a beer pong, and I was catching up with all the people I already knew from Chiang Mai. Pregame was very worth it. The festival itself, it was an adventure. The next day, I was actually trying to book another night at Revolution Hostel, but they got all booked up. I assumed that they'd be able to just extend my stay, but they booked up, and I was like, oh crap. So then I had to get a new hostel. So I looked on Hostel World, and I found another hostel called DJ Backpackers. It was like this completely different vibe. It was not a party hostel. It was a complete opposite. It was a hippie hostel. It looked so pretty though. It was like overlooking these rice fields. It had an 8 a.m. yoga every morning, and just looked so cool. And it had hammocks that you could swing like overlooking the fields. You definitely need a scooter. You don't need one, but it's a 5-minute drive outside of the main town on a scooter, and it's like a 15-minute walk, which feels like pretty long when you're in Pai and there's a lot of hills and stuff. So I definitely think you need a scooter, as it's a little bit out of the way. I didn't have a problem going to this hostel at all, because I just met up with my friends back at Revolution the next night, and I just went back and forth even though I wasn't staying there anymore. And I was actually able to utilize the 8 a.m. yoga next morning. We got up at 8 a.m., made it to the yoga. It was so cool. We did like a whole meditation. It was so early and like brisk out, and it was really cool. So if you're in Pai, I recommend doing half Revolution and DJ Backpackers if you want to get that experience too, or you can honestly just join the yoga without staying there. So the next day I decided to check out these hot springs, which was one of like the main things to do in Pai. The main things to do in Pai were the hot springs, tipsy tubing, Pai Canyon, there's waterfalls. Scootering all around Pai is honestly just an adventure in itself. There's the night markets, daytime shopping's cool, there's thrifting. There's so many cool cafes for coffee too, which was really surprising. I was so surprised about how incredible the coffee was in Thailand. Like, better than the Italian cappuccinos. But I never had any coffee in the South that much. I had coffee, but if I don't remember it was probably not that great. But I had like the best cappuccinos and lattes ever in Chiang Mai and Pai. They have this cafe culture where they make super customized lattes, and like, yeah, I can go on about the coffee for so long. But so I went to this hot springs, and it was so underwhelming. It was a cool little walk. I was starting to feel lonely again. So walking in the forest to get to the hot springs was very relaxing, and I needed that. It was kind of like a little self-care moment. But the actual hot springs were just basically warm pools of like with cement and kids in them. That was interesting. But it was a cool adventure to get there, and I decided that night to meet up with the guy I scootered to Pai with, and we went to a night market, and we tried bugs. I'll insert a video, because they offer a lot of bugs in the streets of Thailand. Okay, I'm trying a bug. Yeah. Can you do a fake reaction? Okay, cheers. Cheers. Oh shit. Ew, I'm scared actually. thought of it as a chip as I put it in my mouth, and then I'm just like, oh. I rate it a 7 out of 10. What do you rate it?
2 out of 10.
Honestly, didn't think it was that bad. Anyway, he wanted to get some gifts for his parents, and so did I. Actually, I didn't get any gifts for my parents. I actually bought some stuff for myself. So it's fine though, because I wasn't gonna see my parents for another like 6 months. So I did get them. Oh, I did get my mom some jewelry. I never got my dad anything. He got his parents' stuff, so that's really nice. And the next day, I went to breakfast with the same group from Chiang Mai, which was fun. And then I decided to go with the guy I scootered with to a waterfall that was really popular in Pai, which turned out to be not even as nice as the waterfall we found on the way from Chiang Mai to Pai, but still really cool. And I always like the hiking and stuff, and all the nature is just, it's amazing. We actually went swimming in that waterfall, which was really fun. We went from there, that was on the way to the bamboo bridge, which is one of the main things to do in Pai. It's this really cool bridge going all the way over the farmland. So much nature, like it's just, I'll insert pictures. There's no way to describe it other than it was stunning. Very cool. And at the very end of the bridge is like a big Buddha temple. Didn't even mention this, but in Chiang Mai, I went to so many temples. I don't know why I didn't talk about that a lot, so I'm gonna just put all the pictures of all the temples here now. Okay. And then, yeah, so that day everyone was going tipsy tubing, but I wanted to go to the waterfall instead. And then after the tipsy tubing, it was followed by another jungle rave. They love their jungle raves in Pai. So I decided to meet them up for that instead of going to the tipsy tubing and the jungle rave. So I met up with them for the jungle rave. This one actually turned out to be quite fun. The other one was weird. This one was really kind of cool. Like the music was good, our face painted. It was pretty cool. It was very fun. So the next morning was our departure all the way back from Pai to Chiang Mai. So me and the same guy went all the way from Pai back to Chiang Mai. He was super sick. So that wasn't cool because it was a very long journey. Actually, it took a lot longer to get back. It took us like 5.5 hours to get back. We had to return our scooters. One thing, if you go to Thailand and you go to Chiang Mai or Pai or anywhere to rent a scooter, actually in the south too, you can rent it for 1 day or you can rent it for a week and etc. But if you rent it for a week, you usually get a discount. I rented my scooter for a total of 9 days. It was so cheap. Total, I don't remember the exact amount, but for 1 day, it's usually around 200 baht, which is around $6 a day. So good to rent a scooter for the day, $6. I was obsessed with the scooters called Scoopies. They were like these cute little scooters and they're just into Asia. I like looked it up. We tried to research and there's no Scoopies in the US or anything, but they're just so cool, like Barbie mobiles. I felt like such an idiot at first. They gave me a super Barbie looking bike and a pink helmet. And I was like, okay, thanks. But I actually ended up falling in love with it at the end. And I really want to keep that scooter and I really want to go back and get it. Anyway, and that was the total of 2 weeks. The next part of the video, I'll be in the south. Incredible blue water. I went to the Monkey Beach. Koh Tao was the best place I've ever been, ever. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoyed the next part. If you have any other questions about Thailand or travel tips or anything, comment below. If anyone ever watches this. But if not, that's fine too, because this was fun to make and it made me really miss Thailand. So